Good afternoon. I'm Mitchell Gunter, host of On the Spot Motorsports Media. Right next to me is my partner, Robert Simpson, which is joining us from Beach Bend. He's up there for the Tri Fives, and he's been going around talking to racers, taking pictures, as you've probably seen on our page. But tonight we have Brenda Grubbs joining us, just an excellent racer in stock and super stock. We're going to talk about how she got involved in racing. Talk about what was the experience like. Going from bracket racing to I think she started running stock in 1999. Talk about that transition and how that was for her. But before we get into that, we've got a few commercials, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit. We'll protect it.
Ready to take your engine to the next level? Scorpion Racing Products delivers precision-engineered, high-performance rocker arms that dominate the track. 100% CNC machined in the USA with aerospace-grade aluminum for unmatched strength and durability. Our rocker arms handle extreme conditions with multiple ratios available to fit your needs. Backed by our exclusive lifetime warranty. When performance matters, choose Scorpion Racing Products. Proven, reliable, unstoppable.
With more than 30 years of engine and drivetrain experience, Big Stuff is your one-stop total power management solution. Whether you're controlling a 600 horsepower street car and want the best drivability, or have a 6,000 horsepower race car, need the most bulletproof, reliable control hardware, Big Stuff can do it all. All of our components are designed and manufactured right here in the USA, including our computers, wiring harnesses, touchscreen display.
We've experienced how common insurance falls short, slow quotes, excessive exclusions, and a drawn-out claims process.
We actually use a policy that's built specifically around motorsports racing, so drag racing, circle track, and road course. We're covering the race cars, the trailers, the tools and equipment, the pit vehicles, and your motorhomes. And we cover them while they're in storage, in transit, or at the race facility itself.
Larice Motorsports Insurance, coverage built by racers for racers.
How you doing, Brenda? I want to welcome you into On the Spot Motorsports Media. I want to apologize. We were having a little connection issue with Facebook, but we are up and going on Facebook with YouTube. But I want to thank you for joining us tonight so we can talk a little bit about your career. And, man, look at those Wallies that are lined up behind you. That just goes to show you how great of a racer that you are in stock and super stock.
Well, thank you. I have been very blessed along with my husband. We have enjoyed some success. And I try to tell everybody it's not just about Brenda Grubbs, it's about Bill and Brenda Grubbs. So these are as much of my husband's trophies as they are mine. They just happen to be in my office.
I gotcha. But yes, and like Mitchell said, thank you so much for coming on and to go along exactly what you said. Everybody will acknowledge that you do not see Miss Brenda without Bill, and you don't see Bill without Brenda. They are a team, and they work as such, and very, very fluid, I might add, because it's most of the time that I see, and Mitchell too, it's just y'all two going to the races along with your dogs. So y'all do very, very well. Just wanted to say that. Mitchell?
Yeah, can you take us a little back to the beginning, and how did you first become interested in drag racing?
So I grew up around drag racing. My dad had a car, and the first time that I went to the track, I just absolutely fell in love with it. I loved everything about it. I loved the sounds, the smells, the competition. Interesting enough, I was pretty much a girly girl. I was a girl that got up, like an hour and a half before going to school to make sure that my hair and makeup was perfect. I planned out my wardrobe a month in advance, but I loved drag racing. And I grew up primarily in New Hampshire, and just really couldn't wait for April for New England Dragway to open, and was very sad when October rolled around and New England Dragway closed for the winter. But so I had the opportunity to grow up around it. And when I got older, I drove a 1972 Nova to high school. And I also worked at the tower at New England Dragway. Funny enough, my dad at the time was probably a little bit more interested in my younger brother growing up in racing than maybe his daughter. And so he didn't necessarily want to help me all the time working on my car. So I dated guys that like to work on my car. So fast forward, my Nova that I spent all my babysitting money. I babysat for years and years and saved money to buy that Nova and to turn it into a cool car to drive with dual exhaust and loud mufflers, was stolen. And I was absolutely heartbroken. I did get it back, but when it came back, it had all kinds of drug paraphernalia in it and all kinds of stuff. And it just kind of ruined it for me. And eventually sold the car and kind of got away from drag racing for several years. I didn't go very often until fast forward, I started dating my husband. Bill and I dated long distance. He would come to visit me on the weekends. At the time, I worked on the weekends. And so my husband started going to the track with my dad. At that point, my dad was running Stock Eliminator. And my husband had never been to a drag race before we started dating. And he just really got interested in it. And then once we got married, he wanted to get a race car. And he kept after me. And I just kept saying no. I said, it's either very expensive or the wife goes and just sits. She doesn't participate. And he kept after me. And finally I said, well, what if I drive? And he said, okay. So, and yeah, I mean, it kind of shocking. I thought, well, I wonder how long this is going to last. And fortunately for me, it has lasted throughout the years. And, I always say that Bill is a pilot, so I think maybe he gets his thrills from flying airplanes, and I'm allowed to get my thrills from driving race cars. So yeah, but it's a perfect partnership. He loves working on the car. He loves making the cars fast and the specs that we have to talk to this time, and it's really an effort. My husband is so smart. He loves to work on his stuff. He loves all the data and every freaking sensor and race pack and sometimes cameras and everything else in the car.
Your audio is kind of messing up just a little bit.
Okay. Sorry.
There you go. It's clear now.
I haven't done anything. It's worked all day, Mitchell.
Well, I was figuring maybe someone was calling you.
Nobody's calling me. Nope.
But, I think the neat thing is, would you bracket racing for years? I mean, you've raced, a lot of Gainesville, Orlando, probably some down in Bradenton, and I would guess probably South Georgia Motorsports Park.
Yeah, so I didn't really bracket race a whole lot. When Bill and I first got the car, looking back, I mean, we were fairly newly married. We didn't have a lot of money, but yeah, why not buy a car to go drag racing, right? We had an open trailer because Bill was in the Air Force and would use his open trailer to tow his second car. So we had a Suburban and an open trailer, and we towed our brand new to us 69 Camaro to the track. And we just didn't really know a whole lot about what we were doing. We were quite the spectacle. We started racing in Holt, Florida, right outside of Fort Walton Beach. Bill was in the Air Force at the time, stationed at Fort Walton Beach. When we got married, obviously I moved there. And when we got to the racetrack, it was like, here comes this clean-cut Air Force guy, and oh my gosh, the wife is driving. That was back in the day when you didn't see a lot of females race. And then as I was learning everything from how to put my seatbelts on to how to do a burnout, I felt like we were the entertainment of the track. And so, yeah, I kind of started racing. I always joke as some of the entertainment, but it was really a good experience for me. It was a great group of people. And then with Bill being activated, on active duty, he was gone quite a bit. And so I decided that if I was going to be a decent racer and learn how to drag race, I needed to race more. And if Bill wasn't going to be around, I would go by myself. So I would go by myself up to the track. I had a girlfriend at the time who was newly divorced, and she got her race car in the divorce settlement, and she would come in. I lived in a cul-de-sac at the time, and she would come on in and whip around the cul-de-sac, and I would pull out right behind her, and away we'd go up to the track and race. And it's really funny when I think back about it, because we had a parking spot that was near some guy racers that were friends of ours. And they just kind of kept an eye on us, and they were there if we needed them. But yeah, we were there, and we took our cars off the trailer and warmed them up and went racing. So, and yeah.
I think what's so neat about our sport is, everyone's there to help the other person. Mm-hmm. I think that is probably the biggest thing, the reason why I got involved in drag racing, because I seen the friendships, and some of those friendships with some of the people or at the track is a whole lot better than some of your relationships with some of your family.
Yeah, for sure.
That's true. Sometimes you do spend more time with them. That's for sure at the track. But the fact that it doesn't matter who, but the fact that you were new at the sport and you wanted to learn, so you even went by yourself. So that's really good. That shows the motivation and drive that you had even when you were beginning with the sport. Now, what classes did you run when you first started? Now, this is at Holt, correct? You said
so I was in the street class. Yeah, I mean, it was we were just running street. I mean, as I mentioned, we didn't really have much money. I mean, when Bill would go TDY, he would bring a lot of canned food and save money. And so he would come home with some extra cash, and then we were able to afford a new carburetor. And then we were able to afford a new transmission. For the longest time, my street car was running slower than the junior dragsters. I can remember a time when I was in line to race in the street class, and the junior dragsters were lining up to my left, and Bill was about ready to put the dial in on the window. And I said, no, don't put that dial in on. No. And he's like, why? I'm like, just wait, because the freaking junior dragsters were running faster than I was, So, yeah.
You bring up a funny point there. A lot of people don't understand, how quick they really are. They are faster than your average street car, and these kids, I would say at least probably, what's the class? Probably from 11 up. Their cars are running quicker than street cars.
Yeah.
And it's really amazing to see people come out for the first time, sit in the stands and watch the junior dragster class and be like, oh my gosh, that car's running faster. That little dragster's running faster than that car over there in Sportsman.
Yeah.
And I think that also draws a lot of families in. They see the opportunity there to keep the family in a hobby that they would all enjoy, and go out and purchase a junior dragster for their daughter or their son. And then the next thing you know, they're also racing as well. And I think it's, our sport is built around family for sure. Family and safety.
Yeah. I would have killed to have a junior dragster growing up. I mean, they weren't around when I was growing up. And And I'm sure if my husband was sitting next to me, he would make me tell you that I often joke. Sometimes it's not a joke that I would love to drive a junior dragster even now. I'm only 5'3", so I feel fairly confident I could get in one of these dragsters, junior dragsters. So maybe one time some 16-year-old boy or something will let me take a ride down the track in it, so I can make up for the fact that I never got to drive one when I was a kid.
Well, you see, now that's a reasonable request. Yeah, that's reasonable. You're like going, hey, I can fit in this. I'd like to try it just for kicks.
Yeah.
The only thing about juniors, some, not all, but some that gets me is when you hop out of a junior and then you go get in a top dragster or a super comp car, and I'm like going optics, just because you can doesn't necessarily mean you should. But don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking anybody. Hey, this is what I have, and I'm saving up to move up to something else. Got nothing to get. But you're right. You're right. So about what you said, but the fact that you started as a sportsman, okay, and the fact that both you and your husband started, and you were new to the sport, okay. Did you lean on your father?
Oh yeah.
As far as a lot of experience and like going, hey, I know you're up north, I'm down here. I don't know. Was your father in Georgia yet? Didn't your father move to Georgia?
At the time, my dad was in Atlanta, yes, and we were in Florida. So yes, there were a lot of calls to my dad asking him how to do things. Funny story is I had to buy, well, at the time, oftentimes in the street class, it was the first car up there if there were an uneven number of cars left. And so so Bill and I jumped in my race car to be ready to go when they called us up there so that I could get the buy. So like, how goofy do we look just sitting in the car, right? Ready for the call. And so they call us to the lanes. And so I go to start it and the car won't start, and then you see like your opponents driving up on by next to you and you're like, come on, get the car started, get the car, and so we like jump out, we pop the hood and like, we just stand there, like the typical people that break down on the side of the road, just stand there and like, look at the car, thinking that it's going to talk to you or it's going to miraculously start up,
Yes,
and then the call over the PA says, Brenda Grubbs, we need you in your staging. You have the buy. Come on. And we're like, no, I don't want the buy because I can't get up there. So yeah, long story short, the car was broke. We brought it home and put it in the garage and called my dad and asked him what he thought it might be. So yeah, there were a lot of phone calls to my dad back then.
Oh yeah, I remember Bob. I enjoyed him. He was a super nice man to me when I started. And you see, when you said you first started driving a Nova, I think you said to high school or something like that. The first thing that crossed my mind is that wasn't the same Nova that he had.
Nope.
And
nope.
So I'm like going, what is it about Novas in your family?
Well, yeah, I think for me it was just about what I could afford, and then obviously because my dad liked Novas, I like Novas as well. So my brother races a Nova, so yeah, Novas are kind of my second favorite car. Next to Camaros.
Of course. Yeah, I can't blame you. That's an iconic car, to say the least.
Yeah.
Now you made your debut in 1999 in Stock Eliminator. So can you kind of tell us a little bit, what was that like, going from bracket racing to running Stock Eliminator?
Yeah, so what happened was I got transferred up to Charlotte, North Carolina. And kind of at that time, my dad gave us a Stock Eliminator motor. And we ran the heck out of that motor because we were at the track pretty much every Friday night testing, and then every Saturday night running the bracket race with our Stock Eliminator motor. And so I got a lot of seat time, racing right outside of Charlotte. And then we went to our very first race in Thanksgiving time in Orlando when they used to have the Open there. Right. And it was a little intimidating. I felt like I was kind of on the big stage, if you will. What I probably remember most about it is I had a late light, so it wasn't successful, lost in the first round. But it was one of those experiences that I really kind of had to, I was excited to be part of Stock Eliminator, but I also needed to, kind of help myself to understand that it's still a bracket race, right?
Right.
So yeah.
Do you think it was a great choice of just jumping in there and learning and watching other people during that first time to kind of gather up what you need to do to improve both in the performance of the car and kind of be able to size yourself up to some of the competition?
Yeah, I think it was just kind of a series of events, if you will. I mean, obviously running in the street class, I mean, our motor wasn't anything great. And when we were fortunate enough that my dad gave us a stock eliminator motor that, now I could run in, the class up from the street class when I bracket raced. And it obviously was a little bit more of like a race car, right? Versus just a street car. And so, and then it just made sense. If you got a stock eliminator motor, why are you going to just bracket race that? You want to absolutely run stock as well. And that's really what my dad had that's what his vision when he was giving us that stock eliminator motor, is that we would run stock. And so I think we definitely jumped into stock a lot quicker because we got that motor, versus if we probably would have spent more time bracket racing and saving for a stock eliminator motor.
Well, looking behind you, I think you made the right choice.
Yes. I mean, again, we've been very fortunate. There were times that I wish that I had spent more time bracket racing. But, I mean, I was very fortunate and very blessed to be able to jump right into stock. So,
yeah,
I know Robert's probably, I know Robert's probably dying for me to ask this question. Now, you run two 1969 Camaros, one in stock eliminator and one in super stock. So I'm actually going to throw the pictures up.
Man, that is pretty.
Yep, that's my super stocker, and that is my current stocker.
Yep.
Now, the blue Camaro that you started with, is that currently the black one, or is that the red one?
Yeah, yeah. So good memory. Yeah, my stock eliminator car, my '69 Camaro, did start as a blue car, and that is the one that is the red car that is currently being redone.
Okay, and then
yeah, the black car is a new car.
Okay, I cannot remember where the black one came from, if y'all built it or if it came from somebody. I don't recall.
So we had been talking about redoing the red stalker for a couple of years. I mean, it had been a race car for 20 some years. And anytime you got a big block in a car, it's hard on the car. And there was just things that I knew that we were a little bit on borrowed time. But when we started having conversations as to how long it would take to have the car redone, it meant that I would sit out at least a season and probably 2 seasons, because I wouldn't have enough divisional points, enough points to be able to enter national events. So basically you're looking at kind of 2 seasons. And we started looking at buying another car, but we didn't want a car that was complete because we already had a motor and so on and so forth. And we were just really, it was kind of a lot of turmoil over what should we do. And we were just fortunate enough. We were at Norwalk, and a gentleman came into our pit area with his grandson and started talking to my husband. They were looking at the car. And before they left, my husband said, "Hey, if you know of anybody that has a 1969 Camaro, we're looking for one." And he said, "Well, actually, I have one, and I'm considering selling it." And my husband said, "Well, let me know. I'd love to see pictures," and so on and so forth. Long story short, my husband and my brother went to look at the car the next day. I mean, all the chips just kind of fell in the right place. We had a rain delay at Norwalk, so we didn't race Saturday afternoon. And so my husband and Bill and my brother Bobby drove an hour and a half to look at the car. And when they got there, my brother was texting me and saying, "If you don't buy this car, you're crazy." And so, yeah. And so we bought it. I mean, I didn't see it. But the gentleman was just so happy that it was going to a good home, and we actually knew mutual people. And so we bought that, and it came to our shop. I never saw it until it was delivered. And then Bill spent quite a bit of time just taking the parts from the red car, putting them in the black car. And it has proven to be a pretty awesome car.
Now, can you tell us a little bit, what is the biggest difference in between driving the two and also preparing them?
Preparing them, like getting them ready to
get them
race?
ready. Yes.
Okay. So I would say, fortunately, Bill has set the cars up so that they're very similar for me. My Super Stalker, obviously, I leave off of a button and I leave off of a trans brake. So the Super Stalker, and it was actually built to lead more like a Pro Stalker. So it is, you kind of shoot right out of the gate with the Super Stalker. Whereas a Stalker, I have more of a wheel stand in the Stalker. So I come up on two wheels, and then it's just picking up speed kind of all the way down the track. So they're different experiences. I sit a little bit lower in my Super Stalker than I do in my Stalker. But again, they're set up very, very much the same. And as far as preparing the cars, Bill will tell you that he absolutely despises working on the cars at the track. So it's a good weekend if he doesn't have to work on the cars. But again, to get them race ready, they're pretty much both the same. Right. Charging of the batteries, and my Stalker has an alternator, so the battery being charged isn't as critical as a Super Stalker, but very similar into how the cars are set up.
Gotcha. Now, tell me something, because I might have missed it with a little bit of the audio cutting out on my part. I think your Super Stalker is built by B&B as far as the chassis work. Now, who built or who is redoing the red one and did the chassis work on the black one? Was it to a B&B car?
No, so there was minimal work done on the black car. So we were very fortunate. The gentleman Morris that had it before us wanted to eventually race stock. And so it was set up that it was a fairly easy conversion. Danny Liebram, who runs Top Sportsman, did some work on the cage and just getting it stock ready. But we were very fortunate that it did not need a lot of work on the Stalker, on the black car.
I was always curious about that when you came out with that car, because you were saying, like, going, hey, it's ready, and boom, and there it is. And my first thought was it was the red car, and y'all did a mad thrash, to change the color and stuff. And I was like going, no, wait a minute. There's stuff.
No, it was a black car, and we did a mad thrash on kind of transferring everything over and just, rewiring some of the car. And I mean, it was still a lot of work, probably more work than Bill even thought it was going to be. And then, it's always interesting when you take the car out for the first time, right? And funny story. So we generally always go back to Bradenton. So Bradenton was my home track when we lived in Florida. So Bradenton always has a spectacular racing surface. It's a fantastic place to test. Sometimes it's almost too good. The weather's good. Customer service is great. And it has a good comfort for me. And so when we were testing the black car for the first time, when we got to Bradenton, Bill decided that we probably needed to get the front end aligned by a professional. And so I had to pull in some favors and beg some people, a friend, to do a professional alignment on the car, because the last thing that I wanted was to launch a new race car and it not go straight, right? And so after all that, and then there's a lot of visualization, a lot of mental prep when you're driving a brand new race car. And so, I went all through the whole process, and I was ready to go, and I was at the ready line, and Bill was talking to me in my ear to bring the car up. We had backed the car down because, again, I just didn't know what it was going to do. And I'm ready, and it's time to go, and I go to start the car, and the battery's dead. And so after all that, and so then we had to freaking tow the car back to the pits, swap the battery from the super stocker to the stocker, and then start the whole process all over again. So, but it's been a very impressive car.
You're having flashbacks when you had the buy run at Holt. You're like, no,
Exactly.
not again.
Exactly.
You're like, not again. Now,
Exactly.
I tell you, from the time that you started, you say you started in '99, okay, all the way up to the early 2000s. Okay, you progressed quite quickly. Okay, but where was the first event, or where was the first time that you won with the stocker Camaro?
The first time that I won a national event, or the first time that I won, well, the first time that I won with the red stocker, I won Rockingham, IHRA Rockingham national event.
Okay.
It was my very first time. Yeah.
Because I remember in the early 2000s, you were just a bulldozer, especially in IHRA. Just
Yes.
every time you opened up any kind of media or saw it online, there you were. Whether it be a Turbo Action article, or whether somebody mentioned Woodrow Josie and all the cars that he was powering at the time, your name was always at the top, and a picture of your car. So so it was at Rockingham and IHRA, your first event that you won with it.
Picture of my blue car. Yes.
Yes, your blue car.
Yeah, I was at Rockingham, and another funny story. So, you know, and I always look back at how green Bill and I were in some situations. You know, I mean, that was when you started going rounds. You know, they always tell you to gas and get up here, or just bring your gas up and do it in the staging lanes, right? So we didn't know any different. So we did that, and so we were in the staging lanes and fueling and cooling the car down, everything else. And so when I drove to the ready line, and Bill was already out at the starting line, I was running the GM Performance car. And, you know, it was the first time that they were debuting their yellow GM Performance car. There were a gazillion of them out on the starting line. And there was my husband, Bill, in his flannel shirt. And I mean, it just looked like, you know, night and day out there on the starting line. Anyway, so it got time to go, and my car wouldn't start. But I knew immediately what it was. I had not turned my fuel switch back on. I had enough gas, obviously, to get me from the back of the staging to the front of the staging. But then when I went ahead and tried to start the car, there was no fuel because the fuel line was shut off. And so and so I'm immediately screaming to Bill, who's out on the starting line, turn that fuel line, you know. Meanwhile, like Mike Adams is pulling out in the ready line, and, you know, Bill has kind of the deer in the headlights look, and he starts running back, and then he flips the switch on, and then he starts, you know, heading back out. But yeah, and it just, so needless to say, I've never done that again, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Well, I kind of like where Robert was going, you know, talking about the IHRA, because in 2002, you actually won the Stock World Championship over there. And I wanted to ask you, how does that stack up with all your other accomplishments that you have had so far in your racing career?
That's a good question. I think that, I mean, every accomplishment is different, right? Every accomplishment holds a different meaning. You know, obviously winning the world championship was just amazing and phenomenal. I won the world championship by 3 points. I mean, it was just a very close race. We had to go back to, I think it was Virginia, 4 times because we got rained out. I mean, there's just so much, there was a lot of drama at the end. I remember sitting in the Tops grocery store parking lot in Buffalo, and my husband was down at Rockingham. It was the last race of the year. Monty Bogan could pass me, and Bill was giving me kind of the play-by-play, if you will. He was standing there watching, and that was before you could listen to it on NHRA TV and all that kind of stuff. And I remember him saying, "Okay, Monty launched. You know, he got the green light." And then Monty ended up crossing the center line and was disqualified.
Really?
And yeah. And so, I mean, I'm just listening to this, and and it was just a lot of drama. But again, it was such a blessing to win. I also think that at the time, because I was still fairly new in my career, I may not have really understood the how much work that takes and how special that is, because it happened very early. I mean, I'm so blessed to have that accomplishment, but yeah, I mean, championships are really hard to win, and they're just harder even today. So, but
I think a
where I was
lot of
going with
times we try our best not to pay attention to the points, so we don't put that pressure on us. But we're all racers. We're going to go over there and look at them anyway, and that does add some anxiety on top of trying to compete for a championship when you're so close in the hunt of getting it. Was that kind of like what it was like for you? I mean, you didn't want to look over there, but you just had to.
Well, I think it really became real. So when I won the second national event of the year at Empire at Leicester, which was our home track when we lived in Buffalo for 2 winters, when we secured that win, I don't think either Bill or I talked much on the way home, because we understood that put us in the championship hunt, and it was a lot of holy cow moments kind of thing. Like, right. This is real, right? This is big. And then I think, looking back, there were moments of, freak out, and then moments of confidence, and then moments of, this will play out how it plays out kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, it was the whole gamut. And then it was just, again, it was something that Bill and I experienced so early in our career. We didn't have a lot of experience to even know how to deal with it, if you will. So, but it was pretty sweet.
Absolutely. It's like you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
Some people say, how do you feel? It's like, I don't know yet. It hasn't sunk in or whatever it might be. But, that goes along. And Mitchell, you see exactly where I was going with that. Ms. Brenda, you starting in 99, as you said, and by 2002, you're a world champion. Okay. And that just doesn't happen. It comes from hard work and determination, and it shows. You and your husband and it's been that way ever since. And I've been following for a long time, as anybody else that enjoys stock and super stock, that y'all two have a very much determination and like I said, a work ethic, and it shows. I mean, everything you do, your cars are well prepped, well prepared. You present yourselves very well, both of y'all, and the way that y'all approach the races, it's very methodical. From the outside looking in, I don't know all the details, but from the outside looking in, you're very, very structured, and it shows by the examples that are over your shoulders. There.
I also think that some of my dad's friends early on kind of said, it's hard to win. You probably won't be successful. I had some fuel to prove some people wrong too. But also, I kind of remember thinking to myself, if I can't have some success or win at this, I might as well stay home and play badminton or something, right? I mean, the cost and just the amount of time and energy and resources that you need to be able to drag race. I mean, I wasn't just going to be in it for a social experience. I was going to be in it to try to be the best driver that I could be.
Agreed. Completely agreed. Mitchell?
Now, in 2025, you actually won Super Stock at Gainesville at the Gator Nationals. How did it feel to be able to win a Wally at the Gator Nationals and add that to your resume?
Yeah, so I actually did not win the Wally at the Gator Nationals. I won it at Norwalk.
Right. Yes.
Yes. So,
but for the event.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
just make it up because of rain.
I just say that because my very first final at a national event in NHRA was at the Gator Nationals, and I got runner-up. And so I had been trying to win the Gator Nationals. I think that was my third or fourth final in the Gator Nationals. So to be able to finally secure that was super exciting.
Oh yeah. So and then the fact that you won the rain delayed Gator Nationals at Norwalk, and then you come back the next year and win Super Stock at Norwalk. Okay, so tell me, did you get the ice cream scooper?
I did.
In 25 when you won the
No.
Gators there?
Mm-mm. No.
I didn't think so, but I had to ask.
No, but I got a gator. I don't know if you could see him. So he's pretty awesome.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Those are pretty heavy, aren't they?
Oh, they're very heavy. Yeah.
They're very heavy.
Yeah.
And see, a lot of people don't realize that is something special about Gainesville and the Gator Nationals is winning and actually track champions too for winning a Gator trophy. And it is just like she said, it is very big, it's heavy, and it's also very nostalgic because that was original pictorial of the Gainesville Raceway was that Gator, that was always in the center. Next on the starting line, so it has a lot of historical value to it.
Yeah, and I did not know that you got that so obviously stock was finished at a different race. We all finished, every class was finished somewhere different, and I saw that Johnny Gray won and got a Gator trophy. I went, that's really cool. I would like one of those.
and it started it.
Yeah, and fun fact, I did win the rain out for the Gators on my dad's birthday. So that was awesome.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's really cool.
And I won my very first NHRA divisional event at Bowling Green on Bill's birthday.
I did not know that. And that's ironic, just as Mitchell mentioned before, that I am right now broadcasting live from Bowling Green, from Beach Bend Raceway Park, and I plan on being up here in another 2 weeks for the Lucas Oil Meet and for the Sports Nationals, which I believe you're going to attend both, correct?
That is the plan.
Oh man, this is going to be good. So I get a chance to speak to you and your husband in person. Now, quick question: going back to your racing career that you're currently doing, you've won at a lot of places. You've won at Norwalk. You've won at Gainesville, even though I know it was at Norwalk. You've won at Texas a couple times. You've won in Denver. You've won at a wide range of locations. Was it just primarily like where y'all were stationed and then y'all mainly focused at national events in those locations, or did you just have it's like, I really enjoyed that event, I want to go to it, and put that on your schedule?
No, our schedule has kind of changed quite a bit over the years because since we've lived in Texas, we did go to Denver and Topeka. We would often go to Atlanta, Houston. A lot of the tracks that we enjoyed racing at and would race for various reasons are no longer. And so we didn't really start racing Norwalk again until the last couple of years. We raced there quite a bit under IHRA, but that just wasn't on our schedule. But when we started, eliminating tracks, or tracks were eliminated for us, then we had to start making some other adjustments to our schedule, if you will.
Yeah,
so,
that makes sense.
I mean, Denver, quick story about Denver. Mm-hmm. I had never raced there before. And I had been on kind of a roll. I was getting very close. And so my husband was determined that I was so close to winning that we were going out to Denver. And I said, no. I said, that sounds like an addict for gambling, right? So close, they just want to keep going. And I said, absolutely not. We're not hauling all the way out to Denver. And so, believe it or not, it was a topic of dinner conversation for several days. And then one day I got a business call, and I was asked to attend a business meeting in Denver, Colorado, a few days before the national event. And it was just the weirdest thing. And I remember I hung up the phone, and Bill walked in my office, and I had this really weird look on my face. And he's like, what's going on? I said, I'm going to Denver for a meeting this date. And he goes, really? Well, he goes, then I guess I'll be meeting you there with the race car. And I was like, I was like, okay. It was just so kind of, and then I ended up winning that race. That was my very first national event that I won. So
Oh,
yes,
man.
Joe was right. And Joe, I told that story in my interview, and Joe Costello said, "Oh, so the moral of the story is always listen to your husband." And I
Nope.
said,
I was not going to touch that one. I was
"Yeah."
not going to touch it.
I said, "Yes, yes, Joe."
All I
I
was
tell
going
you,
to
just all
say,
the stars aligned up perfectly for it to work out.
It was so freaky,
yeah, all I was going to say is if your husband wants to go to a race or a place you've never been or whatever like that, just go, okay, let's go. And that's it. And just kind of roll with it. But,
Yeah.
oh, I know it is. But now, Miss Brenda, we have watched you for many years, and like I said, both stock and super stock, competing, but also you're involved in media and you do articles for National Dragster and other things like that. But how did you get involved doing that?
Yeah, so I was approached by GM Performance to write for their online magazine, The Block. And initially, they wanted me to write about me. And I just found that to be very uncomfortable. And so I suggested, what if I wrote about other sportsman racers? And so I wrote early on about Jackie Alley, Katie Sapanik, the Emmons. And so I just really enjoyed doing that. And then obviously since then I have started writing. I've written for several years now for the Dragster, but I don't writing does not come easy for me. It's something that I do in my spare time. I joke sometimes because sometimes articles take me forever just based on my work schedule and my travel schedule. But I just really enjoy being able to tell sportsman racer stories because there's so much about the racers, each other. I mean, we spend so much time with each other at the track. We don't necessarily know much about each other outside of the track. It's kind of like we all just play in a bubble, right? And so to be able to find something that makes each racer uniquely different outside of the performance of their car has just been really fun to get to know people and to be able to tell their story. It's an honor for me to tell some of the sportsman racer story and to give people some publicity that maybe wouldn't otherwise have it, and just to have an opportunity to, or have it on that type of intimate level, I guess, if you will, to share kind of some of their life outside of racing.
We agree. Mitchell and I, that's something we enjoy doing here on the Spot Motorsports Media, is interviewing wonderful people like yourself. But we've also interviewed not only but manufacturers and track operators and local racers and different sports, different genres. And several times we've had people say, I've never had anybody that why do you want to talk to me? Nobody's ever wanted to interview me or anything like that. But the more you talk to them and learn about them, like you said, they have a wonderful history. They have a unique story to share, and a lot of it, very enlightened to help people coming up or to get started or to move into the next phase of their racing career. So we agree that, we enjoy sharing people's stories. Like I said, everybody has a story to tell. You just got to share it with others. It's like, I've read many articles you've written. You do a phenomenal job, including the ones that you, not only speaking of other racers, but when you speak of you and Bill's adventures on the road, okay, and you share different examples there. You do an excellent job. But doing what you do is what I think a lot of people should recognize and do more as the opportunity arises. So I still found it interesting that, okay, I do remember reading the articles from the block, but I did not realize that that's actually where you got your start. I thought it was in different fields.
Nope. Yeah, way back when.
Way back when. There is
It
no way
was.
back
It was
when.
quite a while ago.
Oh,
So.
Well, it keeps you on the inside, that's for sure.
Yep. And it's been, like I said, I feel it's an honor to be able to tell people's story. And so, yeah, I'm very fortunate that NHRA allows me to do that. And that, so it's fun.
Well, and I think a lot of it, I mean, even on my side, when I write something up, it's always great to see that racer to come back and comment, thank you for telling what's going on. Thank you for telling my story, how I got here. I think it gets you on a more personal level with that person. And just to have them back you up, when you write something wonderful about them, I mean, they just love it.
Well, and I also love if they don't know when it's going to be published, for them just to get the dragster and open the dragster and see the article in there.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That's a good point. It's like when you almost to the point they forget about it, and all of a sudden, boom, there it is, and there's the presentation for sure. Now, tell me something. Obviously, you run in stock and you progress from stock to super stock. Do you have any desire to go on and race other classes?
If somebody else would pay for it.
Fair. Okay. Not a trick question, but what if you could race anything? Okay, and it does not have to be drag racing. If you could race anything or drive anything, what would it be?
I mean, I think factory stock is interesting. My husband has always really been intrigued by factory stock. So I think factory stock, I mean, you know, a pro class, I mean, pro stock is my favorite. So probably one of those.
I got you. Because now, something that I really enjoy, and Mitchell hasn't had an opportunity to really see kind of behind the scenes, is whenever there is either heads up competition in stock or super stock, whether it be class eliminations or during eliminations. And ladies and gentlemen, what that means is, as it sounds, if two classified cars are in the same class, stock and super stock. Okay, for example, Ms. Brenda, super stock A automatic for the super stocker, or A stock automatic or double A stock automatic for the stocker. If they come up in eliminations to another car in the same classification, it's heads up, first one to the finish line wins. That's it. Okay, and of course you go across scales of fuel check, and the same thing in class eliminations. And that's what really makes stock and super stock different from brackets. Okay, yes, during regular eliminations there's dial-ins, but it's still performance based. And I gotta admit, I was walking through the pits after you ran McFarland at I can't remember, I want to say the Baby Gators or the Gators, can't remember, I think it was Baby Gators. And boy, he came back here and he was sweating from head to toe from running you. He just kept saying, he goes, I cannot believe this run. And that's all he kept saying. He said it for, I promise, 2 straight minutes. He just kept shaking his head. He goes, I can't believe that was, and I still don't remember who exactly won. But the fact that
but I will tell you, I did not do anything to my car. I ran that as a time trial. So
okay. Well, whatever it was, you made a huge impression on him. Okay, obviously he knew what to expect. You're going to throw down. Okay, but the thing about it is, still he got out there. He says, "Man, what a run! He just kept going on and on and on." And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what it's really about. And as far as a good close race, so just compliment you that you left a lasting impression on him. I mean, you really did.
But I will go back just to kind of the question. I mean, I love my race cars. I mean, my husband has provided me with amazing cars, and I get very, very connected to my cars. I have always said if I sold one of my cars, I would either have to quit racing or it would have to go so far that I would never see it again. You know, and I am a little worried when my red stalker comes back. I mean, I'm kind of loving this black car kind of thing, you know. But
you know, got history. You got history.
I know. That's kind of my baby, right? I mean, that's where we started. And quite frankly, I love the super stocker. I never thought I would love the super stocker as much as I do. And so I am very connected with my cars, and I don't really, I mean, I'm really happy with what I have and what I'm driving. So I don't spend a lot of time thinking about what else I would want to drive or what else, you know, something else that I don't have. I'm just very, very fortunate and very blessed. And I mean, I've had success in these cars, so I tend to really appreciate them.
All right.
So I know that you're going to Bowling Green, but what does the rest of your 2026 schedule looks like for the remainder of the season?
So we're not quite at our halfway point because we are very heavy the races in the fall. But after Bowling Green, we've got St. Louis National, St. Louis Double. We've got the Dallas National. We will go out west and we will run Vegas Divisional, Vegas National, Pomona, feel like I'm missing something in there too. So we still have quite a bit of racing left.
I'd say
No
you do.
U.S. Nationals this year?
No U.S. Nationals. It's just tough for me to race a full week at Bowling Green and then go to a full week at Indy. I already had a business meeting scheduled. I think we'll go next year, but not this year.
Gotcha.
Okay. Also, I wanted to ask you, tell us a little bit about your marketing partners that came on board with you. We want to make sure they get mentioned because, without them, uh, some of this wouldn't happen.
Yeah, so my biggest marketing partner and my partner that I've had for a very long time is National Parts Depot, a fabulous company, fabulous customer service, just fabulous partners, and they have been partnered with me since we started building the Super Soccer, which has just been years. And just, I'm so fortunate and so appreciate National Parts Depot being a wonderful partner. And many of their parts are on all of my cars. So not only do we appreciate them as a partner, but we certainly use many of their parts.
Yeah, and what's so great about National Parts Depot? I mean, if you're driving through Florida, you can always pull off and go to their place right off the 75, check out their showroom floor. It is some pretty neat stuff they have out there displayed.
Yeah, they do. And they have a great parking lot because I've spent many times in the parking lot because we often make a pit stop to buy parts at National Parts Depot, and we are on our way to test at Bradenton every year.
Yes, you're right. It has a huge parking lot. I've been there many a times for parts. And quite honestly, when you came out with National Parts Depot, for some reason I was thinking Scott Lamar. I thought you bought his Camaro, and painted his green one, because Scott was involved or is with National Parts, and I'm like going, no, it can't be. That's got a vinyl top. You know what I mean? But from a distance, that's the first thing that crossed my mind. And I'm like going, no, okay. But who else are you working with?
Yeah, so we've had long partnership with MSD, VP Fuels, Race Pack, which is part of MS, which is part of Holly now. Let me think who else. Jessel, our Joy of Seating, our seats in our race car. So yeah, we have many partners that we're super thankful for. And Goodyear, can't forget Goodyear. We have run Goodyear tires my entire racing career.
Oh man, that's saying something for sure, because you go through a lot of fuel and tires. That's for sure. As many laps as y'all make, it is unbelievable. Now tell me, now you obviously have enough PTOs saved up, because I was wondering. And you're not retired. Neither you or Bill are retired yet, correct?
Bill is going to be retired at the end of this month. But no, I am going to continue to work for several more years. But yes, I do have quite a bit of flex time, but I travel a lot in my job. But I do have quite a bit of vacation, and I am fortunate enough that I work from home. And so that is either this office or my office in my motorhome. So this year I have been flying. Bill has just been amazing. Bill and Charlie have driven to and from the races a lot by themselves because I have been flying in and out of the races with a heavy travel schedule. So I so appreciate Bill and Charlie meeting me at the racetrack.
That's
so,
true. And,
but
I tell you what, we're really looking forward to possibly going to Vegas this year for the national event, and it'd be great to catch up with you there because I don't know for sure if we're going to go to Dallas or not right now, but Vegas is definitely on the schedule for us to go this year. And of course, Robert, to see you in a couple of weeks there in Bowling Green.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. Not the drive back and forth to home, but definitely looking forward to coming back here. This is a beautiful facility. Now, Ms. Brenda, before we let you go, there's two things. One's a question, one's a statement. I want to recognize, and everybody that knows you knows Bill as far as the hardworking crew chief, husband, always there by your side, working and directing and stuff like that. But I also want to recognize that in 2008, he was Division II a Sportsman Wrench of the Year. Okay, and that's saying something for the entire division to recognize one person for their hard work and dedication to their sport and for their team. So Bill wanted to give you acknowledgement for the hard work. Just wanted to give you a kudos for that. But also, like I said, I could tell, I did not realize that he was a pilot. I honestly forgot, okay, because now that explains a lot watching a lot of his actions, okay? and I'm like going, oh, because we've interviewed a lot of pilots, and I know several of them, and I'm like going, oh my goodness, okay, this makes a lot of sense. Matter of fact, we've interviewed a top fuel racer who's a pilot. And he was, during the conversation, he was doing checklists, and I'm like,
I think we just lost. Oh, there you go. We lost you for a second, Robert.
Okay, yeah, I'll be quiet. Okay, I'll just be quiet. But I just wanted to say, Ms. Brenda, thank you very much for coming on tonight. We appreciate you taking time out of your crazy busy schedule to come talk to us, and it is crazy busy. And we absolutely look forward to talking to you soon, and we want to wish you nothing but the best this year.
Well, thank you, and the pleasure was all mine. Thank you for inviting me and for having me on.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Ms. Brenda. Well, like I said, from here at On the Spot Motorsports Media to you, we want to wish you a good night, and your husband, Bill, which I know is in the green room watching right now.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Take care.
Hope you have a wonderful night.
You too.
Take care.
You too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I tell you what a wonderful interview. Man, just her accomplishments is just amazing. Just amazing as a sportsman racer.
She is very humble. She has won so many divisional races, national events, NHRA, NHRA. I mean, she has won and accomplished a lot, and she is just very, very humble about it. And she is a phenomenal racer. I've run against her before, way back when, okay, and to see her energy, yes, she won the round, ladies and gentlemen. It was really no contest. She beat me at both ends, okay? But to see her go through the finish line and she was excited about winning a round, just that excitement, okay, of winning. And she mentioned that to us in the green room, and she goes, if I'm not happy to win a round, she goes, I don't need to be racing. And
well, you know what they say. Oh,
yes.
It's always great to win. No one goes to the track to lose.
No. That part's true. That part's true. Okay, but to see her come on, she didn't come unglued, but see her excitement while in the car, you know what I mean, slowing down and stuff like that. It just goes to show the passion. And I enjoy that like anybody does, you know what I mean? If you see them go through and they're excited about a round win, no matter what it is, okay, it means something because it's a hard accomplishment. It's not easy. It's no gimme. I don't care if somebody red lit, okay, but still you had to run the race.
I'll tell you what, Robert, we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll come back and close the show down.
Sounds good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after these messages.
We've experienced how common insurance falls short, slow quotes, excessive exclusions, and a drawn-out claims process.
We actually use a policy that's built specifically around motorsports racing, so drag racing, circle track, and road course. We're covering the race cars, the trailers, the tools and equipment, the pit vehicles, and your motorhomes. And we cover them while they're in storage, in transit, or at the race facility itself.
Larice Motorsports Insurance, coverage built by racers for racers.
With more than 30 years of engine and drivetrain experience, Big Stuff is your one-stop total power management solution. Whether you're controlling a 600 horsepower street car and want the best drivability, or have a 6,000 horsepower race car, need the most bulletproof, reliable control hardware, Big Stuff can do it all. All of our components are designed and manufactured right here in the USA, including our computers, wiring harnesses, touchscreen displays, and more. Nothing is built offshore, and we take pride in being one of the only automotive aftermarket manufacturers that can say this. Learn more at bigstuff3efi.com or connect with us on Facebook and Instagram for more information.
Ready to take your engine to the next level? Scorpion Racing Products delivers precision-engineered, high-performance rocker arms that dominate the track. 100% CNC machined in the USA with aerospace-grade aluminum for unmatched strength and durability. Our rocker arms handle extreme conditions with multiple ratios available to fit your needs. Backed by our exclusive lifetime warranty. When performance matters, choose Scorpion Racing Products. Proven, reliable, unstoppable.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.
Again, I want to thank Robert for you coming on tonight up there from Kentucky. I know you had a long trip and you've been up there pretty much all this week, and you know things start kicking off a little bit tomorrow for the Tri-5s. I know you're getting excited, especially with the junior stock class. I know that's one of your classes that you really like to follow there, and of course, there's going to be a couple like a grudge race, I think, between Lux and Alex Taylor.
Yep. There's a like you say, you want to call it a grudge race for them two up here. So I don't know if it'd be a 2 out of 3 or whatever, but it's supposed to be fun. I believe it's brought. I believe Peak is sponsoring it, so that ought to be fun because she wasn't here. How you doing, Austin? Good to see you, buddy. Talked to Keaton today, so that's good. It's good to see. It'll be good to see you guys. But yes, actually, Mitchell is supposed to. Okay,
Well, I think Robert's having a little bit of interference with his internet right now. So we're going to go ahead and let him get some rest. He's got a busy day tomorrow and the rest of the week. I want to remind everyone next Thursday we're going to have a guest that we've had on here before,
Will Standers,
but this time he's going to be on here in different circumstances. He's now with the PDRA, and that's Mark Beatty. So we're getting really excited about having Mark back on the show, dive into the PDRA. And I tell you what, I watched the racing this past weekend. Oh, my goodness. Everyone was killer on the tree. I mean, there was some really great racing, especially both for the pro mod categories. It was awesome. So if a lot of people may not think that there's a lot of good racing over there, well, you need to start tuning in and watching it because, I mean, it was a dogfight for a lot of those classes. And so I'm really excited to have Mark come on and talk about what things are going to be prescribing in the near future with PDRA. Are they going to stay where they're at? Are they going to bring in another class? More likely, I think they're probably going to stay where they're at right this moment with the classes that they have. And, you know, one of the great things that they do there is in Top Sportsman and Top Dragster, when they qualify, if you don't make it into the elite Top Dragster class, they have the regular Top Dragster and Top Sportsman class as well. So you still have a chance of winning when you show up to an event. I always thought that was pretty awesome.
I think that's a really good classy move, like you said, because even the Elite 8, you know, you could be right outside the Elite 8 or the Quick 16. and being extremely quick cars. So it's good that they have, I'll call it, for no disrespect to anybody, like an A field and a B field, for example. Okay,
Right.
so I would love the opportunity that they're showcasing to allow racers to continue to race, and that's always good. And it's like what's going to happen up here at the Tri-Fi, like Mitchell was probably mentioning, is my feed dropped out for a second. But, you know, there's the match race that's happening. There's also gasser racers, a gasser event that's happening here, which would be really good to see and be involved with. Junior stocks, which I enjoy myself and others. But there's also a stick shift class. There's also a foot brake class. There's also a DOT class. So there's a little bit something for everybody, but this is an exclusive 55 through 7 Chevrolet event. Okay, they don't want, nothing is allowed to compete or show that it's not a 55 through 7 Chevrolet. And there is thousands that will be here. I am here sitting here talking to you on Tuesday. I've been here since Saturday. There's cars in the camping area. Those pictures that you saw me posted on the Spot Motorsports Media on our Facebook page, they've been here since Saturday, okay, and they continue to come in for an event that won't happen for another couple days. It is an absolutely amazing event, ladies and gentlemen. I recommend anybody that's in the area, anywhere, that they come to this event. If you like a 55 through 7 Chevrolet, and if you do not find a car that you like, there with you. I mean, it's an amazing event. But I'm sorry, Mitchell, I got sidetracked. And yes, and also have an interview scheduled for tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you who with, but it's a very interesting person in racing. And
so I want everyone to continue to tune to our page throughout the week. Look at the updates. Check out the interviews Robert's going to be doing up there and the photos. And I appreciate Robert taking the time going up there. And then, like I said, we were talking, with Brenda Grubbs, that he's going to turn back around and go back up there for the double divisional that will be taking place, which is really cool. 2 races in one.
Yeah, but what was I thinking? What was I thinking?
And then, that's going to lead right into a lot of them driving on over to Indianapolis for the U.S. Nationals. So it's going to be,
covered.
Yeah, it's going to be a really great couple of weeks here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a very exciting couple weeks worth of racing here, ladies and gentlemen. But also, we want to thank
Austin's got an update.
Oh, hey, Austin, tell me something. Now, I don't know exactly where does Dickie also have a 5 through 7? And I hope he bought Silly Bear back. I hope he did. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what Austin is mentioning is Dickie Ogles, he drove, okay, and owned a very, very famous 69 Camaro Superstock big block 4-speed car named Silly Bear. Okay, and it had been around for ages, always quick, always competitive in that manner. And the car was sold many years ago, I believe, to the Schindler Group. I want to say Wilkerson bought it. I don't know. But anyway, and then Dickie went on to build a Corvette 4-speed car and sold it. So anyway, I hopefully, Austin, if you can put me in contact with him, I would like to see and talk to him and ask him some questions about that. But anyway, I hope he does get the car back and brings it back out, because it was a fantastic piece of racing history. And it was always a beautiful car. But ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank everybody here for joining us on On the Spot Motorsports Media. Also for everybody that's following us on both Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify. Very hard on all.
Yeah, Robert's cutting back out a little bit, and we appreciate everyone watching us, follow us on those networks, and we're also very grateful for the marketing partners that we have. And if there's someone that you want us to bring on for an interview, please reach out to us. You can reach out to us on our personal pages or through our On the Spot Motorsports Media Facebook page as well, and we'll try to get in contact with that person and bring them on. But again, me and Robert, we appreciate you. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next Thursday night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Not this Thursday, next Fauna Thursday.
Right. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.